I mean, I notice this thing here, and me like go session where you dance and party when I have nothing to do with Rasta. You just go a party and dance and feel good and you go home. But you have Rastafari function where if you claim Rastafari, at least once you're supposed to present yourself there. Now why I bring up that is that you have a whole heap of Rasta artists. You see them all at the party, them and the Smurf, this and the this, that and the this, that. And you never see them a Rasta function yet. I don't understand that. Why I want to claim Rastafari and the only place him go is where the soca session there and dance session and everything there. And when it come on to things like all the commemoration of the Carol Garden atrocity or any function as it relates to Rastafari, you never see certain man there so yet. That's weird, man. That's really weird. Because it's not just a group I want to fight. From your Rasta, you involve yourself. After you claim Rastafari, you're supposed to involve yourself in the liberation process. And if you're not involved in the liberation process, then what is the purpose of being a Rasta? Rastafari is liberation. That is why Leonard Owen say, Emperor Selassie is to liberate us from white supremacy and colonialism. But it can't be that you just gallivanting and gallivanting and gallivanting and don't take time out to come amongst your peers in the Rastafari community. The Rastafari community is a great community. And with all the whole heap of things that people are say, it now get out certain ones, Rastafari forever. But why you look all the ones them who responsible for really organize that commemoration is one of the best ones them, and I've been to all of them. It's one of the best ones I've been to so far. And it's sweet me because I go to Laughter 4 and the police never come lock it down. You know, so yeah, we want to heal up the ones them. We don't call no one name, because we call a one name now, we call a name, and we not remember all the name them. But if you know who was part of the organization, it was a wonderful organized community project for the Rastafari community. And we hope we can maintain that structure continuously. And we see certain things that make move, and we see the Rastafari Carrigan Benevolent organization and make some move in the interest of the elders. And we just say continue, even though we know governments here, we know the process here, but we have to just continue. It's just so it go. We can't give up. Because we don't come here to give up. Because we reach too far now for turn back. You know, we reach too far. Remember saying, say, you reach a river Jordan and you turn back. You know, we can't reach so far and turn back. Because some of we really not turn back. Because we don't have no back for go. But would I really like say, especially the artists them who always are declared Jah Rastafari on stage, to be more involved in the liberation. It can't be that you have to go at every Renaissance, Stone Love, all of the dance them will have nothing to do with Rasta. I mean, I tell a man not to go there, so, because if me feel it, me go there. Because I love go to Raytown. And I play music where I have nothing to do with Rasta. But we have to remember, we take up a mantle, we take up a crown. That crown that was once stands become the crown now. We take up that locks. And it can't just be a fashion statement for someone, especially reggae artists. That's why I hope people don't like reggae artists, because them say reggae artists them sell out the thing. Yeah, them say reggae artists sell out the vibes. And sometimes I listen to them and I can't say nothing. Can't say nothing. But the liberation is not yet your Uro. You ever hear that tune? Not yet to Uro. Not yet to Uro. But we continue the journey. We continue the journey because we know say we Africans will fight. And it is necessary because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. You know, we'll play a youth child the last year. I think year before last. Named Mar. With a true name, Ghetto Life. But me not hear him again. I'm just come off. So as a youth, we have some serious potential. I don't hear him again. Mar! Where there? Would I like some more tune, you know? Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge. Pat Clark, come in.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. Tonight, we look at one of our female word warriors.
Roots firm in the ground, stand up strong like any tree trunk. As the universe makes space for this one, what a thing, the cherry tree I come to maturity.
She has been described as an African guerrilla woman. This petite black belt martial arts instructor is a revolutionary who speaks on behalf of oppressed peoples throughout the world. Cherry Natural is concerned about women and their struggles, their rights to equal social and economic opportunities, and her poems make no apologies in addressing these issues. Her work celebrates poetry, advocates militancy, and celebrates women. Everyone knows her as Cherry Natural, but her given name is Marcia Wedderburn. Inspired by Jamaica's own legendary folklorist, poet, actress, and author Louise Bennett, Cherry Natural has been entertaining and using her work to educate people from all over the world for almost 20 years. It all started when Cherry was 12 years old. Using Miss Lou's works on which to hinge her own style of writing, she penned a poem called Time Hard, which won favor with both her teacher and classmates. From that time until now, Cherry Natural has done nothing but write and perform her poems. Her collection of poems to date is somewhere in the region of 3,000. Her poems reflect her militancy, her ability to use her art to heal, liberate, and motivate. She gets her fulfillment from the changes her works bring about among women who are still among the most oppressed and suffer from low self-esteem. But she also writes to motivate men and children. In fact, Cherry Natural writes to motivate the human race because, as she puts it herself, her greatest joy in life is to see people enjoying life and the privileges that come with living. While her emphasis is on live performances, Cherry Natural has to date published several books of her poetry. The first, in 1989, was entitled Come Make We Reason, and in 2002, Earth Woman. Her debut album was also entitled Earth Woman, and it was released in 1999. Cherry Natural also performs with her daughter Little Natural, who, though not so little anymore, has been strongly influenced by her mother's teachings. Cherry Natural is ready to take her message to the world, especially to young people. Since 1990, she has been touring and delivering her message through her poetry. She has been to the US, Canada, the UK, and the Caribbean. Cherry Natural has performed at poetry festivals in Toronto, Canada, Baylor College in Chicago, Howard University, Poet Circles in Los Angeles, California, the Lotus Festival in India, and Reggae Soca Awards in Florida. PhD candidates have used her work as the major part of their theses and have traveled to Jamaica to meet this little woman with a big voice. And now to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. If you have no confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you started. The words of Marcus Garvey, Jamaica's first national hero. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Yes, Pat Clark.
Full moon so bright, tropical delight, happy native dancing, morning, noon and night.
Yeah, we'll be up at 11th of May at the Pegasus Hotel. I think this is the fourth time we're going to keep it at Jamaica. Fourth time. Okay, we want to play this. You ready for this? Here we go.
Absolutely staggering what you can get out of
Yogurt.
Yes, I have a list. Christian Mindersma wrote a book called Pig 05049, which is an anonymous pig, and beyond the obvious foodstuffs, she found different parts of this animal offered the following pork derivatives. From the skin alone, safety gloves, cosmetic surgery, collagen, comes from pig skin, energy bars, which also have collagen in, low-fat butter, chewing gum, X-ray film, drug capsules, bread, flour improver made from pig hair, would you believe? Flour around it. The skin is also used for tattoo practice. And ballistic gelatin. That's just the skin, then there's the internal organs, pet food, tambourine skins are made from a pig's bladder. The old tambourine.
I knew those folkies were evil.
Many thousands of people are alive because of a pig's valve from their heart. From the bones, cheap wine corks, would you believe? Stabilizing propellant and bullet making, inkjet paper, concrete, match heads, bone china, train brakes, yogurt, which you correctly mentioned.
What's a train brake? Like where you
stopping a train.
For the weekend?
Stopping it.
A trotter out. He just leans forward.
Fabric softener. Who knew? Beer, wine, ice cream. From the fat, biodiesel, soap, shampoos, crayons. From the blood, cigarette filters, amazingly. Toothpaste. And also paintbrushes. Chemical weapons testing. The ears are used in chemical weapons testing. Don't ask me why. I should hasten to add that not all toothpaste and not all yogurt contain it, but if you are a Muslim or Jewish, you've got a hell of a problem discovering what's got
You have your work cut out.
You have your work cut out like a silhouettist. According to Bloomberg, there are 42 major areas of manufacturing that entirely rely on pork products. It's quite astonishing what that one animal can do. That is the only farmyard animal, if you discount truffle hunting, that is only useful when dead.
Wow. I wonder if you want to listen to that. Pardon me if I play it again, you know. Pardon me if I play it again. Believe you me. This is all the things them that them use pig for do when it dead.
Absolutely staggering what you can get out of
Yogurt.
Yes, I have a list. Christian Mindersma wrote a book called Pig 05049, which is an anonymous pig, and beyond the obvious foodstuffs, she found different parts of this animal offered the following pork derivatives. From the skin alone, safety gloves, cosmetic surgery, collagen, comes from pig skin, energy bars, which also have collagen in, low-fat butter, chewing gum, X-ray film, drug capsules, bread, flour improver made from pig hair, would you believe? Flour around it. The skin is also used for tattoo practice. And ballistic gelatin. That's just the skin, then there's the internal organs, pet food, tambourine skins are made from a pig's bladder. The old tambourine.
I knew those folkies were evil.
Many thousands of people are alive because of a pig's valve from their heart. From the bones, cheap wine corks, would you believe? Stabilizing propellant and bullet making, inkjet paper, concrete, match heads, bone china, train brakes, yogurt, which you correctly mentioned.
What's a train brake? Like where you
stopping a train.
For the weekend?
Stopping it.
A trotter out. He just leans forward.
Fabric softener. Who knew? Beer, wine, ice cream. From the fat, biodiesel, soap, shampoos, crayons. From the blood, cigarette filters, amazingly. Toothpaste. And also paintbrushes. chemical weapons testing. The ears are used in chemical weapons testing. Don't ask me why. I should hasten to add that not all toothpaste and not all yogurt contain it, but if you are a Muslim or Jewish, you've got a hell of a problem discovering what's got
You have your work cut out.
You have your work cut out like a silhouettist. According to Bloomberg, there are 42 major areas of manufacturing that entirely rely on pork products. It's quite astonishing what that one animal can do. It's the only farmyard animal, if you discount truffle hunting, that is only useful when dead.
Wow. Tattoo testing from pigskin. There are a whole heap of people that walk around with pigskin in them hand and them shoulder and them back. All Rasta. But ignorance still is, well, ignorance is not bliss really. But so much things out there. It's good to know these things still, you know, because many people still, you know, you cannot trust them. You cannot trust them because you are chewing gum. Chewing gum. And you know you have chewing gum when you make from pig skin. When I'm not skin. Hey, I will heap of them cheese and milk and them thing there, you know, you think all milk from cow, you know. I will heap of them things there. You'd have been surprised to know where them things there come from. But a whole heap of ones now investigate certain things, so you can just imagine how men and people are laugh. Yeah, they say, right, look how them are going like this and that, and look there. Them talk about them only on pork, and them have been tattooing on their skin. That's funny, man. That's funny.
It is everywhere. We need it. We want it. We even find it in places where we wouldn't expect it. When researchers examined the stomach of a beached sperm whale in 2012, they found 30 square meters of tarpaulin, a 4.5 meter long hose, a 9 meter long plastic rope, and 2 flower pots. How is this possible? On average, a European uses and disposes of more than 100 kilograms of plastic per year. A large part of plastic waste ends up on huge landfills or in the sea. Today, more than 100 million tons of plastic is drifting around the oceans. Due to particular currents in the Pacific Ocean, a new continent has been born. A mass of plastic waste the size of Europe. In some areas of the oceans, there is up to 60 times as much plastic as there is plankton. Because plastic does not rot, it lasts up to 500 years. Through exposure to sun, wind, and water, plastic is broken down into microscopic parts. These plastic particles can absorb high concentrations of agricultural and industrial toxins. Many animals mistake the plastic for plankton and eat their fill. Every year, more than 100,000 turtles, marine mammals, and seabirds die a slow and painful death because they starve with a full stomach or because their intestines rupture. Other marine creatures in whose cells plastic and toxins have accumulated end up as seafood on our plates. The smallest form of plastic are microplastics. They are added to cosmetics, shower gels, and toothpastes. A tube of toothpaste contains up to 10% microplastics. The sewage plants cannot filter microplastics, so they too end up in the sea. In the making of plastic, hazardous chemicals are used in order to enhance elasticity of fire resistance. Bisphenol A, plasticizers, or flame retardants are contained in almost every plastic product. Through exposure to heat, the wrong detergents, or simply over time, plastic will go brittle, thus releasing these chemicals, which in turn, through the airways, ingestion, or through mere touch, find their way into the human body. The consequences are severe. They include increased risk of cancer, asthma, infertility, and developmental disorders. The plastic industry tries to cover up any scandals and runs a gigantic lobbying campaign in order to prevent stricter laws or inquiries. Plastic factories are veritable fortresses. The plastic production process a tightly kept secret. This is one of the reasons why no one is exactly sure what substances are added to the plastic. Over the course of the last 10 years, only 11 chemical substances could be analyzed out of a total of 100,000 possible additives. But there is hope yet. Intelligent robot nets, or fishing boats converted to floating recycling factories, are intended to cleanse the oceans. Bioplastic made of maize or starch could replace conventional plastic. However, its production consumes valuable food, so it's no solution for satisfying the global demand for plastic. This is why you must radically change your consumption behavior. Pay attention to the packaging of products. Substitute paper or cloth bags for plastic bags. Don't throw away old plastic, but recycle it and use plastic-free products. Are we going to allow the destruction of the earth to continue? If we act now, there may still be hope for future generations, before the miracle material definitely turns on its creator.
Listen, it's plastic. And you know, we hear the government tell them ban plastic bag and styrofoam. But we don't see no different. I see the man them still have buy them food in a styrofoam box. Where them get it from? How them say the government ban it? Oh, I don't understand that. It's a joke thing. A joke thing. I already say it before, you know. Sometimes people feel so we are drop water and things, you know. But we say it because we not the supermarket them. Some of them try to make it different, but them still have the plastic. I tell you, them will sell you the plastic bag if you want a bag. If you don't carry your own bag. You think them easy?
Unsettling news today about a product in our daily lives. The government says that a chemical used to make styrofoam coffee cups and takeout containers and insulate homes could possibly cause cancer. We wanted to know more. Jim Avila has a reality check.
They are everywhere and last forever. The infamous styrofoam cups with a garbage dump half-life of 500 years now possibly linked to cancer risks. The National Institutes of Health said today there is mounting evidence that styrene, a component of that little white cup, may cause leukemia and lymphomas. In fact, Dr. Philip Landrigan at Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York says he would advise pregnant women and small children to switch to glass and ceramic.
As a pediatrician, I'm in the business of urging caution, and I think this is a case where it's reasonable to urge caution even while the data are incomplete.
So what does this mean for my coffee cup? Should I stop drinking from styrofoam? The makers of styrofoam said today's announcement is completely unjustified by the latest science. But the government says animal testing suggests a cancer link. And when new studies are complete, the government anticipates styrene will be listed as a human carcinogen. The doctors we talked to gave a qualified yes. Avoid styrofoam cups. Could hot drinks be more dangerous than cold in styrofoam? It's possible because a study has shown heat can cause more leaching of the chemicals into a drink. Are there building materials in my house I should change? The highest risk is for workers who manufacture those products. The risk is much lower for people who live around them. So why is the government telling me this? Dr. Landrigan again.
It makes sense for people in their personal lives to minimize their exposure, even though we can't precisely quantify the risk that's associated with something like drinking a cup of coffee out of a styrofoam cup.
So for now, it's coffee with care. Jim Avila, ABC News, New York.
Yes, styrofoam. We still see it about the place enough. Some people don't understand the thinking, you know. It's like it take a whole re-education of the people them to understand where are going to them. Cause it hurt them, you know, but it not show now. And truth not show now, them feel say nothing happen, but them things that not just happen overnight to once, you know. You have things that develop in you until it become a serious sickness. styrofoam cup, styrofoam, all of the things them. See, people put hot food in a styrofoam, and then when you're looking at the bottom of the thing, you see the styrofoam melt. Serious thing. So, we are continuing the journey. I don't know how much people hear the news flash, the newscast. I don't even know if IRFM have that newscast, I know, but if we did have the program during like Friday or Thursday, so you'd have to hear the newscast. But even though it gone, all the news gone already, I could play the newscast. We can see if I can find it.
It's 3 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Anya Carville. In lieu of our regular news, this is a Spirit Radio special report. The death has occurred in the Roman province of Judea of Jesus of Nazareth. The popular teacher and religious leader was executed by crucifixion along with 2 other prisoners this afternoon on Mount Calvary in Jerusalem. The 33-year-old, also known as Jesus Christ, was arrested on Thursday evening. It's understood one of his friends, Judas Iscariot, assisted authorities with their inquiries and subsequent arrest. After cross-examination overnight by officials from different jurisdictions, Governor Pontius Pilate ordered the execution this morning. Eyewitness reports from the trial suggest the governor's initial verdict to release the Nazarene without charge was reversed following representations from local religious leaders. The convicted man was forced to carry his own cross to the execution site. The crucifixion was carried out at midday and his death has been confirmed, with cause of death recorded as asphyxiation brought on by scourging, crucifixion, extreme exhaustion and loss of blood. Rebecca Ryan has more.
Jesus Christ, the son of Joseph, a carpenter from Galilee, was born in Bethlehem. His family moved to Egypt for an undisclosed period before settling in Nazareth. Jesus worked as a carpenter in the family business and more recently as a traveling teacher and preacher. He was known for his ability to heal physical conditions, including epilepsy, blindness and paralysis. He was praised for reaching out to the lonely, poor and marginalized, and for his unique insights and teaching style. Last year, a wide range of media outlets reported eyewitness accounts of a miracle where Jesus fed in excess of 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He is also reported to have brought people back from the dead. Jesus divided public opinion by identifying himself with messianic claims in the Hebrew scriptures and angered religious leaders by claiming to be God's son, which constitutes blasphemy under Jewish law. Other scholars criticized him for claiming to have the authority to forgive sins. Jesus was in Jerusalem to celebrate the Jewish feast of Passover this week. On the night of his arrest, he held a Passover banquet with his friends where he's reported to have foretold his death. The number of followers of Jesus' movement is not known, but is thought to be in the thousands. Most commentators believe these will disperse following the execution of their leader. Jesus is survived by his mother Mary. In lieu of flowers, the family has requested that everyone try to live as Jesus did. Donations may be sent to anyone in need. Reporting from Jerusalem for Spirit Radio, I'm Rebecca Ryan.
Meanwhile, doubts have emerged over the legitimacy of the trial of Jesus of Nazareth. A member of the Jewish Council claims that council procedures were circumvented by holding court proceedings at night. There are also concerns that Judas Iscariot may have received financial inducements from temple authorities to inform on his former boss. In a dramatic twist of events, the body of a man believed to be Mr. Iscariot has been found today in a field close to Jerusalem. Police are not looking for further witnesses. It is thought that Mr. Iscariot's untimely death could hamper inquiries into bribery allegations. The body of Jesus is to be removed to a stone grave near Calvary, donated by Joseph of Arimathea, who was a friend of the family. Local politicians have called for a 24-hour armed guard to be mounted outside the tomb because of concerns that it may be robbed. It's understood that Governor Pontius Pilate has consented to these security measures. And that's your special report at 3 on Spirit Radio, the home of positive hits and inspiration for you.
I tell you, so last week we delved in Lilith, and we have a whole heap of people that scramble for them computer to go find out what Muta talk about Lilith, the first wife of Adam according to the Jewish mythology. But there is a woman also that has been demonized, and we can see a whole heap of female being demonized as it relates to biblical writings. One of them is called Mary of Magdalene. Mary of Magdalene. Even though the book never said she was a prostitute, but the Roman Catholic Church spread that. Because them people, they take them story there literal and serious, and we, because you know, say we take the thing more literal and serious than evil, them who give you the story. That about black people. Black people take these things serious. So them have this woman who them says the closest woman to the man in the Bible them called Jesus. And when we look on the story and how she weave into the story and then them weave her out of the story, you recognize there's something wrong with the church. Because here's a woman who them claim say take her tears and wash Jesus' foot and then use her ear and wipe it. And then here's a woman where them say the first person we see him when him raised was this woman. And she was one of the women who was outside of the family, who was at the cross when he was on his way to death. The reason why I bring up this story is that a whole heap of people believe these stories and them fashion them whole thinking and understanding around these stories. When these stories is not real, it's not real thing. No, it never happened. Literally, it never happened. But we find all sort of interpretation of these stories to make it make sense to it. Yet still, African people did have them all concepts and ideas long before these stories come to us. The thing is now that we have taken up these stories as our saving grace of stories and has placed our story into some abyss and pit where we say we don't have to deal with those things. Even those things is ours. And this meriting is not ours. This meriting was made up by some guys who colonized parts of Africa. Colonized part of Africa. We're talking about the Romans and the Greeks. When them colonized part of Africa and become the government and all the influences around that area was Greek and Roman influence. And these stories was written in Greek. And don't make them fool you. It's not no fisherman them a write them story there. The story them could not have been written by a fisherman in those ways. Those stories was written by educated people who know what they was doing. But we'll get back to the story of this woman. If you look on how them fashion this woman in the story and then take her out of the story, you can say the continuation of how them fashion this woman Eve in her story and take her out of the story. And the way them take her out of the story is to place her in the position of subservience and also of wicked. Because remember, it it was Eve who carried this fruit to her husband, even though, according to the Bible, God never tell her, say, must eat the fruit. God tell her husband, the fruit of knowledge, the tree of knowledge, him say, you must eat it. But when she go find out something now and she do it, she carry it to her husband, and her husband did eat. And the weirdest thing is that the story tells us that on the day that you eat that fruit, you shall surely die. And them eat the fruit and them never dead. And it also said the serpent is a deceiver, because the serpent look at the woman and say, God know that if you eat this fruit, you'll be like him, knowing good and evil. Why would God not want man to be like him? Yet still right now, we are scrambling to be like him. We are scrambling to be like him. Yet still is him. Did put it, said the serpent deceived the woman by saying, on the day that you eat that fruit, you will be like him, knowing good and evil. To the point where him run them out and say, let's man take out the fruit of good and evil and be like us. Let us cast him out of the garden and put a flaming sword in front of the garden. So the woman is subservient already by coming out of the ribs, coming out of the man ribs. And then him place her in a situation where she have a baby, but she have it in pain. And this is the curse that is placed upon the woman. We supposed to believe these things, you know. Because you have black people who will tell us that the reason why women have pain when they have child is because the curse of Eve. Yes? The curse of Eve caused black people to have women go through childbearing through pain because of this little verse. We tell with that. And we continue through history. The point is that we never did see our women in a certain way where we claim them to be evil. And every time them rise up, we write about them as evil. But we embrace the matriarchs of the village. We embrace the goodness of the matriarchs of the village. And we elevate them in the village. So a matriarchal society is one in which the female is recognized and placed on a pedestal by other women and then by the men. And if you look at a lot of the African retentions, the female play a great part in the whole spirituality and the divine energy that passed down through the generations. How can we accept these stories that emanate from the minds of Greeks and Romans who colonized parts of Africa and make that peripheral belief becomes the sum total of all beliefs in Africa? Because where all of them things that happen, it's just a little area where them called Israel, Palestine, is in Northeast Africa. Because the only thing that divides these places is the Suez Canal. And the Suez Canal is man-made. And we'd have to ask the question, if all of them things are going in just one little spot, what the Chinese them did that do when these things are going in a China? What the Aboriginal people did that do in Australia? What the African them did that do in a southern Africa and western Africa, that now we can now center our whole life of a peripheral thinking that we know colonize Africa up to this day. That don't allow us to see the female energy as part of that consciousness that's supposed to guide we in our life. Because you hear man sing about them mother every day, yet still them destroy women. Like the woman where them destroy is not a mother too. How can you sing about your mother yet till you abuse other mothers? That's a contradiction in itself. You can't be singing about mother this and mother that, yet still your back's long and next mother around there. That's something not right. Because we still have not we don't understand the ancient African tradition. You got Africa, if a man carve a spoon and put a male in the angle, him carve a next one and put a female in the angle. The Queen Nyabinghi from Uganda, where only if a Rasta man don't want the woman to play the drum and tell the Rasta woman say she must cover her ear and all these things. Come from the same mindset. The same mindset was does not nature teach you for a man to have long ears. That's shame. Paul said that. And them say, I command that a woman should not teach or preach. We have been duped into a thinking we make us feel say our woman is just one of our ribs. And not no go so. These stories is not our story, a freedom story. A freedom story and our story. These stories was written by unconscious. You see, what people want to tell you, say, a black people history and a black people. It's not history. It's not history. I see what I say. When a man say, him have to deal with him ancestors. Him can't deal with Jesus. Some people write back and say, but Jesus is your ancestor. How Jesus become your ancestor? Because I'm thinking, I try wipe out Jesus out of him as a white man and put him as a black man. When him get called, I the same thinking. African people, we are telling you, say, we have to turn around the thing, you know. We have to turn around the thing, Rasta. We can't make it a go on so all continuously goes a go on. So you don't see the situation and condition. Look in Africa now. You have more religion and Christian in Africa right now than Europe. You have more religion in Africa right now. But where's the religion we talk about? Christianity. In Africa right now than in Europe, because the generation of white people who have come up now realize, but I don't have to accept that because I'm getting on quite fine without that. And if you look at the more progressive countries in Europe, it is free of all of these Christian mindset and Christian thinking. And if you look at even the East, like Japan, if you look at the Jews, them, most Jews not believe in them somewhere. Who call themselves Jews, most Jews not believe in them somewhere. But now we hug it up and love it up and kiss it up that if I go tell you, say, given how them write the story, you'll have to come to the conclusion, say, Mary of Magdalene was Jesus' girlfriend. As a matter of fact, white people have made movies like that. White people have made movies like that, and I'm sure it's Mary, a Jesus' girlfriend. I remember them did have a movie. Where movie name again? About Jesus Christ. And when it did just come out with it in New York, I went to watch a movie, and some nun, the nun them stand up in front of the theater and block the theater door and demonstrate against the movie. Temptation of Jesus Christ is name, yes. The movie name, The Temptation of Jesus Christ. We are going long in a man and go watch a movie when it just come out. And the nun them stand up and a block the movie, say it's distasteful and it's blasphemous. Because they must say Jesus Christ did have a girlfriend. Yet still, them nun there, some of them nun are a girlfriend, and girlfriend are black the place. So it is okay for the woman them in the nunnery, for deal with the woman them in the nunnery, and the man them in the rectory, deal with the man them in the rectory. But it's a blasphemy if you say Jesus will have a girlfriend. But we know that those stories was given to us. No man can prove to me, say them stories are black people history. It have nothing to do with black people history. Because it is not real. And even if it is real, it's real in the minds of the people them who did not make it up. And these stories were very difficult for a black person who's a Christian to say I'm African. It's very difficult for them to say that. It's very difficult for a whole heap of black people who say I'm a Christian to say I'm African. Because they say it run contrary. Of course it run contrary. Of course it run contrary. Because if you look on most of the women them who you supposed to know about, if you start to just think on 4 women in the Bible you know about, you know, say, most of them when you go think about now, something wrong with them. Even Mary, who them says the mother of Jesus. Because them say, of all the things for God happen now is that this woman never have sex to bring in the Savior of the world, she never have sex. That is a total dysfunction. For you are going to elevate the woman and say she never have sex for bring forth the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That means you know, we are carrying on every woman upon the earth. Yeah, because every woman upon the earth where I know did have sex and bring forth child. So most man upon the earth came through sex. Most man upon the earth, I don't know about nowadays man, but no, most man that I know come through sex. So for the mere fact that they make a woman and create a woman that don't have no sex and bring forth supposed to be the greatest man who ever lived, it's another carry down for the woman again. In other words, she couldn't go have sex and go bring the greatest man on earth. Because according to them, sex is that sin. Yet still them have it with one another in the ministry them. And them have sex with little children in the ministry and in the church. In the church, them have it. So it's a carry down for woman this again. So me say, if you think about 4 women in the Bible, more than likely the 4 women will think about something wrong according to the history of the Bible where you read. Yes? I mean, I say the famous one is Mary, and something wrong. And you think for Eve, something wrong because she brings sin into the world. And then you can go on, you can talk about Delilah. Your people, of course, people about Jezebel and all them something that you know say something wrong. So how come you can't say something wrong? How come black people can't say something wrong? Because you hug up all of them things there, you know. You go hug up where European manipulate history and manipulate mythology for bring to you, for make you feel say it real. And when you say African things in front of you, you dash it away and throw it away and say, no, some of them thing there, me none of that. Why you bring them something to me for Jesus me I deal with? Even the gunman where I kill people maintain him love for Jesus or love for God. God has a Jesus God. Yeah, man, I say, well, God alone him this and God alone him that. But him not really live it how he's supposed to live. Because there's no living how he's supposed to live. He's just calling up and that just so. And lose the essence and the value of the name. Black people, once again, will come with the same argument. We're in a serious problem. If after so much years of tears and blood and sweat and pain and death, we continue the recycling and the regurgitating of these white-dominated doctrines that maintain white supremacy in the consciousness and the thinking of African people. That when you look upon them in Africa now, and you look upon them in the Caribbean, you see them do some things now that you say, wow, how we get that to reach this all? I will say it last week, I will say it again. If the proposition start wrong, it can't write down at the bottom. If the proposition start wrong, it can't write at the end. In other words, if 1 + 1 = 3, it is impossible for 4 + 3 = 7. It must wrong. Because the beginning night wrong. And them have to say that you keep doing the same thing the same way all the while, you're going to get the same result. And that is where I reach way. As a matter of fact, we get more result than we bargain for. Because look what we are doing to ourselves with all of that doctrine for 400 years and more, with all of that doctrine. Where we are there, where we taught there, where we life there as a collective, not as individuals, as a collective. Where you have more people who subscribe to religion, and the least set of people is the Jews. Of all, you have Christianity there at the top, you have Hinduism, you have Muslim, you have all of them. Yet still, the Jews is the least of the group. Yet still, the Jews use what they believe in and control the world. Yeah, this is the cutting edge. We want to show you the people that are wicked, and how black people get caught. Listen to this clip here.
As we celebrate this Holy Week, an exhibit at a museum in our nation's capital is exploring a painful intersection of history and religion. It looks at the Bibles given to slaves for generations in this country and abroad, and it's what was missing from those scriptures that highlights just how much was taken from those who were enslaved and how much they overcame. Here's Jeff Bennett.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other. The so-called Slave Bible. Remarkable, not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament's been removed and about 50% of the
verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, let my people go. Gone is Galatians, and the verse, there is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And no Jeremiah, woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, slaves, be obedient to your master.
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
You hear that? We'll play it again.
As we celebrate this Holy Week, an exhibit at a museum in our nation's capital is exploring a painful intersection of history and religion. It looks at the Bibles given to slaves for generations in this country and abroad, and it's what was missing from those scriptures that highlights just how much was taken from those who were enslaved and how much they overcame. Here's Jeff Bennett.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other. The so-called Slave Bible. Remarkable, not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament's been removed, and about 50% of the New Testament's been removed. To put it another way, a normal King James Version has 1,189 chapters in it. The Slave Bible has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, let my people go. Gone is Galatians, and the verse, there is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And no Jeremiah, woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, slaves, be obedient to your master.
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
Play this.
Jomo Kenyatta once said, when the missionaries arrived, the Africans had the land and the missionaries had the Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. And when we opened them, they had the land and we had the Bibles. Do you see how swiftly they pull wool from the lamp of God over our eyes? The greatest lie colonialism ever told was that it brought God to Africa. Yes, they brought their Bibles, but they did not bring God to our lands. Yes, they brought their churches, but they did not bring God to our lands. Yes, they brought their guns, but they did not bring God to our lands. What they brought was an image made to justify the breaking of our bodies like communion bread, a false idol that to this day I still see hanging in so many Kenyan homes, a frame full of blonde hair, pink and pale skin, eyes, a light blue piercing enough to draw blood, to have already drawn blood. Jomo Kenyatta once said, when the missionaries arrived, the Africans had the land and the missionaries had the Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. And when we opened them, they had the land and we had the Bibles. Do you see how swiftly they pull wool from the lamp of God over our eyes? The greatest lie colonialism ever told was that it brought God to Africa. Yes, they brought their Bibles, but they did not bring God to our lands. Yes, they brought their churches, but they did not bring God to our lands. Yes, they brought their guns, but they did not bring God to our lands. What they brought was an image made to justify the breaking of our bodies like communion bread, a false idol that to this day I still see hanging in so many Kenyan homes, a frame full of blonde hair, pink and pale skin, eyes, a light blue piercing enough to draw blood, to have already drawn blood.
I would like to tell you a few personal stories about what I like to call the danger of the single story. I thought about this when I left Nigeria to go to university in the United States. I was 19. My American roommate was shocked by me. She asked where I had learned to speak English so well and was confused when I said that Nigeria happened to have English as its official language. She asked if she could listen to what she called my tribal music and was consequently very disappointed when I produced my tape of Mariah Carey. So after I had spent some years in the US as an African, I began to understand my roommate's response to me. If I had not grown up in Nigeria, and if all I knew about Africa were from popular images, I too would think that Africa was a place of beautiful landscapes, beautiful animals, and incomprehensible people fighting senseless wars, dying of poverty and AIDS, unable to speak for themselves, and waiting to be saved by a kind white foreigner. So that is how to create a single story. Show a people as one thing, as only one thing, over and over again, and that is what they become. I recently spoke at a university where a student told me that it was such a shame that Nigerian men were physical abusers like the father character in my novel. I told him that I had just read a novel called American Psycho. And that it was such a shame that young Americans were serial murderers. It would never have occurred to me to think that just because I had read a novel in which a character was a serial killer, that he was somehow representative of all Americans. And now this is not because I'm a better person than that student, but because of America's cultural and economic power. I had many stories of America. I had read Tylan, Updike, and Steinbeck, and Gateskill. I did not have a single story of America. I've always felt that it is impossible to engage properly with a place or a person without engaging with all of the stories of that place and that person. The consequence of the single story is this: it robs people of dignity. It makes our recognition of our equal humanity difficult. It emphasizes how we are different rather than how we are similar. Stories matter. Many stories matter. Stories have been used to dispossess and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize. Stories can break the dignity of the people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity.
Yes. The time is 12 o'clock in Jamaica. Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM, 20 odd years and counting. I want you to listen to this. Listen to this.
This is the hackle. Respect the hackle.
This is Mariah. She's a master wig maker whose skill and expertise has made her a celebrity favorite.
This is what they do after they cut it off the ponytail to get that shorter hair out.
She painstakingly sews each wig by hand in a process that can take months to complete and cost as much as $15,000.
Close it off, and then there you go. And how you tie it determines the way the hair flows and falls and parts.
She knows everything there is to know about hair, except for one thing. Where does most of the hair being sold in the industry come from?
I try to source from people who I know where it's coming from, but I don't know.
As Refinery 29's senior beauty editor, I've been on set for dozens of shoots and interviewed hundreds of hairstylists. Nearly every one of their kits holds the same things: flat irons, curling irons, brushes, product, and hair. But Hollywood's best-kept secret is far from new. Both Black and Orthodox Jewish communities have openly worn hair for generations. But it's just now that the popularity has exploded into the mainstream. Celebrities have opened up on social media about wearing human hair, revealing just how common wigs and extensions are on the red carpet and in everyday life.
Extensions have really pushed the hair trade up. People want things that are disposable. They just want long hair today, and that's that.
There's something intimate and uncanny about wearing the hair of another person. It can transform the way you look, but at what cost?
Close your eyes.
I couldn't help but wonder who this hair once belonged to. It's difficult to trace the origin of much of the hair on the market. It's no surprise because the hair trade has always been shady. For centuries, hair brokers have used any means necessary to get their hands on hair. In the 1800s, peasant women in France were lured into being shorn like sheep. In the early 1900s, it was reported that hair sold in the States was coming from sewers and corpses in China. Hair dealers were thought to be so shady, they were banned from Ellis Island. Controversy continued into the 21st century, as reported by CNN.
She lost 8 inches of hair. From the robber's perspective, it's quick and relatively easy money.
One constant in all of this is that the hair trade sets up shop wherever women are the most disenfranchised. And the people who end up wearing the hair are often unaware of the journey it took to get to them.
Most people do not know where their hair comes from, and I don't think they care.
Rika Hales, the founder of a hair extension salon in Los Angeles, didn't particularly care either until she got scammed.
I had already lost $10,000. I couldn't afford to lose any more. They had these great pictures. They tell you how it's going to perform. They sell you on a dream. That's the issue with it.
Rika went on a hair buying trip to try to get some answers.
I want to know if all the hair in Malaysia is really coming from Malaysia.
She traveled across 6 countries and found the lack of regulation in America and around the world makes it hard to guarantee what you're getting.
Push it. There you go.
Oh, it fried
the hair.
I can smell it. It smells like, what is that? Is that burnt hair or is that plastic?
That's plastic.
Plastic, mixed with what's known as fallen hair. It's the cheapest tier of human hair, collected from salon floors, hairbrushes, and drains. The hair is detangled, processed with chemicals, coated with silicone, and sometimes mixed with synthetic and animal hair. While okay for some uses, it's a less expensive version of a higher quality, more elusive hair. Virgin Remy.
So everybody's secretive about where their hair actually comes from. That's where the hair broker makes his money. Remy, okay, you do it.
Passing off non-Remy hair as Remy is just one of the many tactics of hair dealers. Where do you get your hair from now?
I get my hair from India.
Widely considered to be one of the most ethical places to source hair, Hindu temples are a crucial part of the industry. Every year, millions of devout followers travel to temples like this one, the Sri Venkateshwara Temple in the southern state of Andhra Pradesh. It's the most visited Hindu temple in the world, and perhaps the most lucrative. Here, devotees shave their hair as an offering to the gods, which becomes an easy revenue source for the temple, bringing in more than $7 million per year. It's a practice that provides a constant supply of cheap, high-quality hair. But it's not for everyone. For some, matching specific textures and colors is worth paying top dollar for. Blonde, red, wavy, coily. The more niche the hair is, the more expensive and harder it is to source, making this type of hair prime for exploitation. After months of back and forth, only one of them agreed to show us their operation. We set out to Vietnam to meet him. Vietnam is in a moment of major transition. With one of the fastest growing economies in Asia, its growth is a mix of opportunity and exploitation. Hairstylists here have been known to offer women next to nothing for their hair, or offer them what sounds like a good rate, only to disappear before payment. Even though Dan agreed to meet us, I still had no idea what to expect or how legitimate his operation would be.
Hi. The way other companies operate, everything is going to be under the radar. Some of the women that we've bought hair from, they've been scammed before. We're trying to be different than everybody else.
Dan's mission is to make his company, Remy New York, one of the first ethical and totally transparent companies on the market.
These are going to be our dyed hairs. So we do have different varieties.
This is so exciting.
Colors. Yeah.
Really cool. And you have short ones too.
Sure.
So if a girl were to come to you and want to cut her hair, but she has short hair, you would still buy it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
We try not to turn away anybody just because everybody needs help. So this one is going to be one of our long ones. This one is pure virgin Remy. You can feel the softness of it.
In my 6 years in the beauty industry, I had never seen hair like this.
Amazing, right?
Oh my gosh, this is so long.
This level of high quality hair isn't something you can fake. And as soon as I saw Dan's hair, I knew he was doing something right. But he invited us out to see for ourselves. Dan travels across the region to buy hair in person and at a fair rate. Here in the countryside, having long hair is still an important sign of femininity. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. How are you? For Win T Twee, it's a promise of a better future.
kiếm thêm chút đỉnh tiền để xoay sở trong gia đình.
Will you miss your long hair?
Rất là nhớ cái mái tóc này lắm. Nó rất đẹp, mượt mượt. Coi như là mái tóc này là một lát nữa cắt đi là mình rất là buồn. Không biết mình nghĩ cái mái tóc ngắn mình như thế nào nữa. Tóc này là cũng nhiều người họ đến hỏi lắm rồi nhưng mà không bán, trả rất là thấp.
Because for the previous times they only offer about $2 or $3 for her hair.
That's like actually criminal.
Cái chú này đến hỏi là trả giá cao cho nên đồng ý bán.
It hits home that the hair trade starts with women like Twee. Behind many of these wigs and extensions is a woman making the tough choice to sell her hair to better her life. Dan zip ties Twee's hair to avoid tangling and to keep it all in the same direction after it's been cut.
Beautiful. I think you look beautiful. You look young and fresh and really pretty. Will you tell her that?
Nói cắt tóc xong tóc cô rất là trông rất dễ thương hơn.
Dude, yeah. How are you feeling?
Cô cảm giác sao bây giờ sao rồi?
Thì cũng thích.
Dan paid Twee a little over $100. The money is more than a month's worth of living expenses for her entire family, enough to buy livestock that will bring a new income stream for years to come. Dan's rates are not only unheard of, they have the potential to change lives. It's a mission Dan's taking across the country. From a woman who wants to use the money to put her son through swim lessons for the first time, to another who needs to pay for books and tuition at school next semester, and even a woman who wants to advance herself through the trade.
You know, there's no shortage of hair companies in the world, but there's no companies that want to make a difference, that want to change lives. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know that nobody else will, and nobody else has.
While it's still the early days for Dan's company, a lot of eyes are on him to see if Remy New York can be a new standard within the industry.
What does an ethical supply chain for hair look like? It sort of looks like fair trade. This guy in Vietnam.
Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM, 20 odd years and counting. I want you to listen to this. Listen to this.
This is the hackle. Respect the hackle.
This is Mariah. She's a master wig maker whose skill and expertise has made her a celebrity favorite.
This is what they do after they cut it off the ponytail to get that shorter hair out.
She painstakingly sews each wig by hand in a process that can take months to complete and cost as much as $15,000.
Close it off, and then there you go. And how you tie it determines the way the hair flows and falls and parts.
She knows everything there is to know about hair, except for one thing. Where does most of the hair being sold in the industry come from?
I try to source from people who I know where it's coming from, but I don't know.
As Refinery 29's senior beauty editor, I've been on set for dozens of shoots and interviewed hundreds of hairstylists. Nearly every one of their kits holds the same things: flat irons, curling irons, brushes, product, and hair. But Hollywood's best-kept secret is far from new. Both Black and Orthodox Jewish communities have openly worn hair for generations. But it's just now that the popularity has exploded into the mainstream. Celebrities have opened up on social media about wearing human hair, revealing just how common wigs and extensions are on the red carpet and in everyday life.
These extensions have really pushed the hair trade up. People want things that are disposable. They just want long hair today, and that's that.
There's something intimate and uncanny about wearing the hair of another person. It can transform the way you look, But at what cost?
Close your eyes.
I couldn't help but wonder who this hair once belonged to. It's difficult to trace the origin of much of the hair on the market. It's no surprise because the hair trade has always been shady. For centuries, hair brokers have used any means necessary to get their hands on hair. In the 1800s, peasant women in France were lured into being shorn like sheep. In the early 1900s, it was reported that hair sold in the States was coming from sewers and corpses in China. Hair dealers were thought to be so shady, they were banned from Ellis Island. Controversy continued into the 21st century, as reported by CNN.
She lost 8 inches of hair. From the robber's perspective, it's quick and relatively easy money.
One constant in all of this is that the hair trade sets up shop wherever women are the most disenfranchised. And the people who end up wearing the hair are often unaware of the journey it took to get to them.
Most people do not know where their hair comes from, and I don't think they care.
Rika Hales, the founder of a hair extension salon in Los Angeles, didn't particularly care either until she got scammed.
I had already lost $10,000. I couldn't afford to lose any more. They have these great pictures. They tell you how it's going to perform. They sell you on a dream. That's the issue with it.
Rika went on a hair buying trip to try to get some answers.
I want to know if all the hair in Malaysia is really coming from Malaysia.
She traveled across 6 countries and found the lack of regulation in America and around the world makes it hard to guarantee what you're getting.
Push it. There you go.
Oh, it fried
the hair.
I can smell it. It smells like, what is that? Is that burnt hair or is that plastic?
Plastic, mixed with what's known as fallen hair. It's the cheapest tier of human hair, collected from salon floors, hairbrushes, and drains. The hair is detangled, processed with chemicals, coated with silicone, and sometimes mixed with synthetic and animal hair. While okay for some uses, it's a less expensive version of a higher quality, more elusive hair. Virgin Remy.
So everybody's secretive about where their hair actually comes from. That's where the hair broker makes his money. Remy, okay, you do it.
Passing off non-Remy hair as Remy is just one of the many tactics of hair dealers.
Where do you get your hair from now?
I get my hair from India.
Widely considered to be one of the most ethical places to source hair, Hindu temples are a crucial part of the industry. Every year, millions of devout followers travel to temples like this one, the Sri Venkateshwara Temple in the southern state of Andhra Pradesh. It's the most visited Hindu temple in the world, and perhaps the most lucrative. Here, devotees shave their hair as an offering to the gods, which becomes an easy revenue source for the temple, bringing in more than $7 million per year. It's a practice that provides a constant supply of cheap, high-quality hair. But it's not for everyone. For some, matching specific textures and colors is worth paying top dollar for. Blonde, red, wavy, coily. The more niche the hair is, the more expensive and harder it is to source, making this type of hair prime for exploitation. After months of back and forth, only one of them agreed to show us their operation. We set out to Vietnam to meet him. Vietnam is in a moment of major transition. With one of the fastest growing economies in Asia, its growth is a mix of opportunity and exploitation. Hairstylists here have been known to offer women next to nothing for their hair, or offer them what sounds like a good rate, only to disappear before payment. Even though Dan agreed to meet us, I still had no idea what to expect or how legitimate his operation would be.
Hi. The way other companies operate, everything is going to be under the radar. Some of the women that we've bought hair from, they've been scammed before. We're trying to be different than everybody else.
Dan's mission is to make his company, Remy New York, one of the first ethical and totally transparent companies on the market.
These are going to be our dyed hairs. So we do have different varieties.
This is so exciting.
Colors. Yeah.
Really cool. You have short ones too.
Sure.
So if a girl were to come to you and want to cut her hair, but she has short hair, you would still buy it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
We try not to turn away anybody just because everybody needs help. So this one is going to be one of our long ones. This one is pure virgin Remy. You can feel the softness of it.
In my 6 years in the beauty industry, I had never seen hair like this.
Amazing, right?
Oh my gosh, this is so long.
This level of high quality hair isn't something you can fake. And as soon as I saw Dan's hair, I knew he was doing something right. But he invited us out to see for ourselves. Dan travels across the region to buy hair in person and at a fair rate. Here in the countryside, having long hair is still an important sign of femininity. Hi.
Chào.
Hi. How are you? For Win T Twee, it's a promise of a better future.
Gia đình khó khăn rồi kiếm thêm chút đỉnh tiền để xoay sở trong gia đình.
Will you miss your long hair?
Rất là nhớ cái mái tóc này lắm. Nó rất đẹp, mượt mượt. Coi như là mái tóc này là một lát nữa cắt đi là mình rất là buồn. Không biết mình nghĩ cái mái tóc ngắn mình như thế nào nữa. Tóc này là cũng nhiều người họ đến hỏi lắm rồi nhưng mà không bán, trả rất là thấp.
Because for the previous times they only offer about $2 or $3 for her hair.
That's like actually criminal.
Cái chú này đến hỏi là trả giá cao cho nên đồng ý bán.
It hits home that the hair trade starts with women like Twee. Behind many of these wigs and extensions is a woman making the tough choice to sell her hair to better her life. Dan zip ties Twee's hair to avoid tangling and to keep it all in the same direction after it's been cut.
Beautiful. I think you look beautiful. You look young and fresh and really pretty. Will you tell her that?
Nói cắt tóc xong tóc cô rất là trẻ trung, dễ thương hơn.
Dude, yeah. How are you feeling?
Cô cảm giác sao bây giờ sao rồi?
Thì cũng thích.
Dan paid Twee a little over $100. The money is more than a month's worth of living expenses for her entire family, enough to buy livestock that will bring a new income stream for years to come. Dan's rates are not only unheard of, they have the potential to change lives. It's a mission Dan's taking across the country. From a woman who wants to use the money to put her son through swim lessons for the first time, to another who needs to pay for books and tuition at school next semester, and even a woman who wants to advance herself through the trade.
You know, there's no shortage of hair companies in the world, but there's no companies that want to make a difference, that want to change lives. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know that nobody else will, and nobody else has.
While it's still the early days for Dan's company, a lot of eyes are on him to see if Remy New York can be a new standard within the industry.
What does an ethical supply chain for hair look like? It sort of looks like fair trade. This guy in Vietnam.
This is the Culture Nation IRFM. When you go through the pieces, you know. I hope you listen to what I play. Yes, serious thing there.
You so black. You so black. When you smile, the stars come out. You so black. When you born, the God come out. Black is not. Black when it's wrong and black when it's right. Black is pyramids and mathematics. Black is melanized in magic. Black is televised and in need of drastic black advancement. Black enhances, black with chances, black with privilege, black with pride, black on purpose on the black hand side, black and beautiful, black and blessed and highly favored, praise the Lord, black and blessed, black and so much more, black and nothing less, black and educated, black is brilliance. Black is strong, black is resilience, black is song, black is infinite, like hip-hop or space. Black is grace, black is love, black makes babies, black babies grow up, black is tough, black is hard to do. Black is me, black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that lift every voice and sing. Black is that letting your freedom ring and resound. Black is as you so black. You so black. When you smile, the stars come out. You so black when you born, the God come out. Black is not. Black when it's wrong and black when it's right. Black is pyramids and mathematics. Black is melanized in magic. Black is televised and in need of drastic black advancement. Black enhances, black with chances, black with privilege, black with pride, black on purpose on the black hand side, black and beautiful, black and blessed and highly favored, praise the Lord, black and blessed, black and so much more, black and nothing less, black and educated, black is brilliance. Black is strong, black is resilience, black is song, black is infinite, like hip-hop or space. Black is grace, black is love, black makes babies, black babies grow up, black is tough, black is hard to do. Black is me, black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that lift every voice and sing. Black is that letting your freedom ring and resound. Black is adjective, adverb, color, and noun. So black. Ooh, you so black. When you smile, the stars come out. Baby, you so black. When you're born, the God come out.
Yes, serious poem. I must remind you about this weekend, this poem, Poetry Festival in Portland, new venue. Well, it's not a new venue, really. Gone back where it used to happen at the agricultural school. Okay, we'll continue the journey. Here we go. Serious reason that one come up. Serious.
Giving our kids free access to social media and phones at young ages. They are not ready for it. Their minds cannot cope with the dopamine. They can only have it up to a certain hour, and you take it away. They're children. You can take the phone away. We've got to intervene as parents. But as companies, we now have to deal with the influx of kids that are coming into our companies with addiction. Watch, I see it all the time. Walk through any office. You'll see the older employees have their phones on the sides of their computers as they're working. You'll see the youngest employees have their phones face up in front of their keyboards between their arms as they're working. And this is how they work. And the science is alarming. They did experiments on mice where they did the multitasking. They put flashing lights to mimic going from the computer to the cell phone, the computer to the cell phone to the TV. The mice that were exposed to the changing lights, it took them 3 times longer to solve a maze than the mice that weren't, and the damage was permanent. There is a subconscious reaction to these devices when we use them, okay? What if I were to hold my phone while I'm talking to you? I'm not checking it, it's not buzzing, it's not beeping, I'm nothing. I'm just holding it. Do you feel at this moment that you are the most important thing to me right now? No, you do not. Because there's a subconscious reaction we have to the device. When it is out, it makes the people around us feel that they are less important. So when we're walking down the halls in our offices and somebody says, hey boss, can I ask you a question? You go, sure, what's on your mind? We've just told them they're not that important. Or we can go, sure, what's on your mind? And if you don't have a pocket, find a shelf, put it on the shelf, come back and say, sure, what's on your mind? When we show up to a meeting, or a lunch, or a dinner, with our colleagues, our clients, or our friends, or our families, and we put the phone on the table, we have announced to everyone in the room that they are not that important to us. And by the way, putting the phone upside down is not more polite. My favorite one is in the meeting or at a lunch with someone that the phone will ring and the caller ID will pop up and they will go, I'm not going to get it. Oh, so magnanimous. Oh, lucky to eat with you today. Or they could just put the damn thing away. You can tell how addicted we are. When somebody pulls out their phone when you're with them, how uncomfortable does that make us feel? You're walking down the street with someone, they pull their phone out. We feel stupid, so what do? We pull our phones out. We're so addicted. Somebody goes to the bathroom when we're at dinner, and what do? We have to sit there by ourselves. God forbid we should look around the room for 5 minutes. We pull our phones out. Meetings, awful. What do we do when a meeting happens, right? Everybody's sitting waiting for the meeting to start. Bob's running a few minutes late. Bob's here? Okay, start the meeting. Do you know when relationships are built? All that in between time.
Well, I tell the people them St. Kitts, we will be celebrating African Liberation Day in St. Kitts.
Bless you.
Hi, Ray.
Yeah, man, Newton, Colonels, long time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, blessing love, man, and congratulations on the area. Long time not talk to you, you know, man. Congratulations on the if you are, you know?
Yeah, man, give thanks. Yeah, listen to the radio, though.
Yeah.
Turn off the radio.
I'll turn it on, yeah. Come on, let me turn it on, yeah? Yes, sir. Remember one long time I tell you about the accident that happened up at the Moon Palace place there?
Moon Palace?
Yeah, for Jamaica Grand.
Yeah.
Well, this time I get a liar.
Yeah.
Unconsultant liar now is a registered liar.
Who?
Unconsultant. Is a registered liar.
What name?
Unconsultant.
Who name unconsultant?
Well, I said the data we are dealing with, the business I deal with that.
The liar name unconsultant?
Yeah.
No, the liar could not name unconsultant. Which part of the liar are they?
You know, St. Anne's.
So you talk to her?
Who was she?
Yeah, so you talk to her what happened?
I talk to her, she have a thing going from a long time. I try to call her, I can't get her for a long while now, you know?
So you don't go to her office?
The officer go come and get moved from there so I can't find her, you know?
Right, what a bad looking man you be. A bad looking man.
Yeah, anyway.
What's your name? What's your name?
Miss Garden.
Miss Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to there. Which part she used to there?
She used to there from Value, beside Value. Beside Value Mart there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I tell you because you can't find her now, I don't know. You get her money?
She work on the case here, right? So we can't get her. I try to call her phone. Every time we call him, and the phone I get said can't take no call. I call out of service.
Are you going to her office and the office not there?
Yeah, them say move from a long while, you know?
Well, I don't know if I tell you, brethren. You'll give her money?
No, so she work on the case, right?
Without money?
As soon as everything come through, you know.
Oh, she will take pay when the thing come through.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I tell you now. I don't know if I tell you.
Yeah, me have another issue still, yeah?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, me tell you about that thing down, Industrial Center, down by Waterloo where they have been destroyed. There's a lot of youth out on the street side and can't find nothing for them. And I think refurbish and build back that place. They can't take off enough of the youth off on the roadside and the crime with a cut off your well. Because they not learn a trade, you understand me?
Which part that they say?
Water lane, down by water lane, used to be, them demolish the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of youth are dropped out of school and have nothing can do. You know? And it creates a lot of crime and violence at the communities them. Which we if them they have something for like a recreational facilities, we learn a trade. Them could have come off of the street and enough man could have a trade will drop out of school. You understand me?
Yeah.
So, I want you to talk to the relevant authority. Say them can't deal with that thing away from the art school. Cause enough youth, you know.
Of them things that are about the place and now still, you know, the whole heap of community projects and community development are run by all some youth too. So, I don't know. So you can't start one?
No, I don't have the funds, Rasta. If they have the funds, I don't do like things for yourself. You see me, I said?
Okay. You don't have to have funds to start it, man.
I have to have money, man.
Okay.
All right, remember, I have some music I did from long time and I can't get through with them.
Oh, yeah?
And I come from Bob the Duke with Customs Patting the RG, come right back round.
You used to make music too?
Eh?
You used to make music?
Yes, man. I'm telling about this with the plant of vineyard, Cancer 3 or 4 master. I remember the day when I go there, I see Mr. Young out of the front part of the place and I carry the song again. I just start playing the same time Peter touch it dead. You know?
Okay.
But it was on vinyl record them time there.
Yeah. That time of the 80s?
Yeah, 90s. Yeah. 84, 90s.
Peter touch dead in the 80s?
Yeah.
Well, give thanks for the call.
Yeah, man, I come link up here, still, no?
Yeah, all right.
Blessed love.
Yeah. Yes. Liar gone. Okay. I could see where we're there now. We're there, so. Yes, over there. Legend remix, yes. Cutting edge. Yes. Morning. Yes, sir.
The cutting edge, you see, you can remind me how long ago it was found?
1992. 1992.
Oh, because I remember you know when you was in the Arfetry Park, I play some music.
Oh, yeah.
Me tell a man say, boy, you have a star work on radio.
Okay, that's from the sound system.
Eh?
That is when we play the sound system.
Yeah, man, I'm there behind you. I'm tell you, say, you have to play some, I don't remember what me I tell you, but me I tell you, say, play some more so-and-so song, you know? Or it look like you never hear me.
Well, you can't tell me the so-and-so, you know, as more played.
Because me I tell a man, say, you're supposed to start work on radio.
Yeah.
Them time there, you know?
20 odd years ago.
Yeah, man.
And you don't remember the so-and-so music you don't remember the so-and-so music when you do I hear?
Eh? I think I want Burning Spear, me not tell about, you know. But I remember when you used to lay down on the waterfront, man, down on the High Times record, you know.
Yeah, that China record job.
Yeah, me see you go through with your briefcase and your barefoot, you know.
Briefcase?
Briefcase, man. You used to have a briefcase, don't it?
No, sir.
Yeah, man, and them time I was 15-year-old, but me say, I go through the road and...
Them time that you are 15?
Hello?
Them time that you are 15?
I'm 15-year-old.
Okay.
I'm across the road and one car near let me.
So you watch the briefcase?
Youth, mind yourself in a youth, mind you know, man.
Why you remember all them something there?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, Mr. Pass and place your regular, man.
Alright, we're still about you, man. We're still
but you know, so Kingston Technical School me supposed to do.
You used to go Kingston Technical too?
Yeah, man, but when we start go Kingston Technical, you left the school there around 15 years or 12 years, you know. But me passed through the school the other day, you know. When you was getting the award thing.
Oh yeah, you did down there?
Yeah, but I was so disappointed.
With what?
Cause the school mash up, man.
Yeah, terribly, eh?
Oh, the school looks man like a war zone.
I tell you.
I mean, hear some IRA FM workers, I say, boy, that classroom, they look nasty, man. Yeah, how the place look so?
You ask me that?
So the place now get no sponsor from nobody.
Well, we have to do something down there still.
One worker down there tell me, say, one Chinaman come there like every couple of months and do something.
Oh, yeah?
So I wonder if the Minister of Education...
No, well, we have to do something down there. I reckon we have to do something down there.
Oh, yeah, do something fix up.
Well, I don't know fix up. I don't know something we have to do. But
I don't know what going on in school there, because when we used to go there, it never found dirty and nasty up and so. Eh?
Well, things at time change, you know. If you see how the thing I go, if you look at all the place how it look, you know, say, things at time really change, you know?
Yeah, and then Mr. Ray was the headmaster, and Miss Comey was the vice principal.
Yeah, when we did go there, Miss Comey was just an ordinary teacher.
Eh?
Yeah, she was no principal. She was an ordinary teacher. It's a likable woman, you know?
Yeah. But all the mash up now, man.
Yeah.
Man, you know, I don't like what the man deal with the thing, you know?
Yeah,
but the last thing is
the workplace and the engineering, you know, metal workshop, them things are kind of gone now.
Yeah, man, and the place dirty and something there. So, them couldn't look after them couldn't make the place look presentable that when you're once going to keep a thing, people can come and say something look good.
Yeah, well, we try our best to put it a certain way still.
Yeah,
then I reckon no carry people on if we clean up certain thing, man.
Boy.
Yes,
it look like they want a new principal, man.
Okay.
Yeah. But the last thing, I mean, you say when you're there, Brazil have a lot of good road. And one highway and this and that. That's true?
Brazil? Yeah, man. Yeah. Brazil no big place, man.
I mean, I set up some nice road. Better road than Jamaica by far.
Then what do you think Brazil is? You think Brazil is a little country? Brazil a big place, you know?
But at the same time, yes, when you go on the corner, you see around 100 street boy, I beg money. And I eat out a garbage pan. And I rob people. That's true?
Well, I don't know if it's Brazil or some place in a Brazil.
Yeah, man, me say when you...
No, but I don't everywhere in a Brazil state, so.
Yeah, but me say yeah, some part of Brazil when you park up.
Yeah, parts in Brazil will stay, so yes. Like New York, said we, you have places in New York where, or in California, you know.
Yeah.
You have man that rob you, said we, you know.
So that's for sure, say when you have pretty road, that don't mean to say your country have a 21st world country, don't it?
No, well, I'd not decide first world. Big road not decide first world.
Oh, so first world are when you invest on the people, invest on the people in medication and those things, don't it?
Well, I guess so.
Uplift the people mentality.
Yeah.
That's a first world country start, don't it? So maybe this leader need to concentrate on that more than the whole thing first.
Well, him get the money from the Chinese, them to do it, so him have to do it.
Oh, but him have to go on back and pay them back, don't it?
I know him pay them back, and we pay them.
Oh, we have to go pay them back. Okay, but I think him should have concentrate on getting some money to educate the ghetto people more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jamaica have too much uneducated people and them have some uncivilized behavior.
Yeah.
So him need to work on that, you know.
All right, sir. Give time.
Yeah. Some more time, yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Blessed, man. Blessed. This is the question I RFM. Yes, here.
Cut in, step in.
Yeah?
Alabama, man, one.
We are long time, you know, you're flying over, brethren.
Man, I tell you, that's shame, man.
Eh?
You know, it's a shame, man, very real, man.
I tell you, what kind of work you do, so, man?
God. We're there, man. We're there, listen, man. We're there, make the program, YouTube, or, you know, wherever we can get it. But so much thing I take place in there early, man. Every month, every day, every year, like that.
You have a talking at the mic or the phone door?
No, me, I say every month, every year, every day, something different happening in the world. Every day,
tell you.
So much things are going. You know, but really and truly, because the big up still on your awards and them things there, you know.
All right. But I think you're not there, man.
Not true. Normally we did there. Normally we did there, man. But we are listening still, and you know, it's great, you know.
Yeah.
Great. Remember the African Day where we have over UA, the club where we get some of the artifacts them to showcase.
Oh yeah, look at your sister.
Yeah.
But we're going on alternative 100 already in the museum long there.
Yeah.
Where your sister get is nothing compared to where they done so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, man. Even my brother, brown man.
We transform the one classroom and the passageway into a whole museum, you know.
Wow, beautiful, eh?
Yeah, man.
Like a trip to Africa right there and then.
Yeah, Africa and my tour them and all them someday, you know.
Yeah, and bro, man, my brother called me and I said, boy, you know, you see the artifacts, I look to the hat. And I hat them when you give me a hooper hat and the umbrella. In Princess Men and umbrella. I say, no,
okay.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, man, it is thanks, man. I great, you know, we still dead for big up. I mean, a man to big up a man when you're alive, you know?
Yeah, man, we give thanks for
it. Yeah, man, it work great. You know, it helps people in a certain way. We have out there these certain things, but we take a vegan lifestyle, we take a more social lifestyle, you know, we live longer than we, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, me, I say so much things are going on in the earth, bombing after bombing, shooting after shooting.
Well, the one in Sri Lanka, they're terrible, man.
Yeah, to the media look into it and terrible, man. Terrible, and, you know, you have to every week or next month, what got no next month again, something come again and just on. And as the rapper, them hit for us, them get rid of them, the man, the star. And you know, there's some really good things to the black community out in California.
Oh, that?
The rapper, them kill, man. Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what going on this again. I mean, I said Dr. Sabi too, you know. Yeah, we there. So, I said Dr. Sabi too. So,
yeah,
you know what going on this again.
Him, you know? He must go into a document upon Dr. Sabi.
Yeah, we see that time I say, alright. I don't know what going on.
Yes.
But
strange things are happening, you know? Strange things are happening.
Yeah, strange every day, you know? So, we give thanks to there still I go through a sieve through madness and I pick out, you know, enlightenment and, you know?
Yeah, give thanks.
Yeah, man. So,
let's see for long to call you again.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, long time caller. Cutting edge,
Yeah, Muta.
Yeah, man, blessed said, man.
Yeah, man, good night. Well, it take a long time to get you, so I'm glad we reach us here, man.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Yeah, man, so me is not, I'm gonna study economics or any of them things like a politician in study, but I'm also a young person too. I look for the future of the country. And tonight, me here, Andrew Wallace make a statement, like him talk about one place in the Maga bill, provide jobs and so forth in Nagahead Park, Technology Park, or Portmore. So, he must say the Chinese will provide financing, and they value at $75 million. And when they don't know, they might got 130% in it Factories Corporation of Jamaica own like 27 or 29%, and then the rest of it go owned by other investors. So I say, why China provide financing and yet them go own 30% of it when it's done? How that feasible?
You mean 30%? You mean Jamaica have the lease in it?
Well, you don't want to look so. Like China will get 30 and then say Factories Corporation.
You know, so between China and Jamaica, and China will get 30, so that's 70. And they have some other people where they might call for invest. Out of St. Thomas.
No man, not Red Park. I think I Portmore there.
Because they have one at St. Thomas, so they have work one with the same Chinese thing. And they have one they make a city out of Bernard Lodge.
Okay, yeah, me go down one day. But the march at the highway down Westmoreland, so go a Savoy too. Yeah,
and the Chinese say they go build city in a Caymanas estate. I don't know if the same thing short about, but we have to find out that tomorrow still.
So if Chinese that undertake so much work in our country, how the finance minister says going to pay them off in a 10 year? That possible?
Who will pay off with a 10 year?
So Jamaica will pay off to China in a 10 years.
Never joke, man.
Because, I mean, the highway, when they deal the north to south highway, $700 million for that, the road they alone,
Look
and when you start about the other project, them where them do like up a Mandela and so forth over Ireland, billions of US dollars that amount to,
Virgin, don't believe them. If you believe them, you must be some fool or something. Don't believe them, Virgin.
No, I'm going to believe them.
What you have to do is look on whether China doing other countries and see what happen to Jamaica.
Yeah, man. Because I look on and I say, no, man, we don't study economics, but we can't pay China in a 10 years. Yeah. Can't pay them off. So they are the hospital. Well, I'm not getting to hospital because hospital, you need it because only one children's hospital and a town that day. So we appreciate what them are doing. And we don't want nobody to listen to, like any government official right now and I say, why these people don't get us there with their foolishness I come talk about Chinese, this and Chinese, that all they want Cabo. Because they will feel say a fight development, And a fight development. As a Cabo say, we want to leverage the relationship or the trading with China. It can't be that seen to be a one-sided deal with them.
Yeah, it must be fair trade.
Yeah, man. Because them can't do one technology park and them go own 30% after them don't provide financing. I mean, America when them provide loan, them provide no exorbitant interest rate, but at least you get to own the thing, but them a provide a loan and them a go and own it when them don't build it. Say people are strategic. Only people are only country little by little.
That don't mean say them now go take back their money and owe 30%, It don't mean say when them put in for their money, them now go make it back and then own 30%. Anyway, I could see where I go on,
Now, one more thing I want to touch upon before we go. I don't want to keep it too long because other people probably want to call it. Alisha, I think he might be Minister of Industry and Commerce, he might talk about round up and he might say, he need more information before he can ban round up. But me I say, what more information you could have need? I mean, you hear said, I don't know if he live under one rock but I sure no him supposed to at least hear about the lawsuit where one man in $239 million paid for Monsanto. And how much country over ban it. So what kind of more information he could have want before he decide to ban it on Jamaica?
I saw the man that's staying a virgin. You have to know that.
I have to do that sometime. When I come in, I'm a joker. You don't care about the people's health, I care about the people's health at all. But well, if you just watch and see what going on still, I hope say you tackle some of the issue tomorrow on the daytime program,
Yeah, man. We want to find out if the Bernard Lodge city we have a bill, if it's the same Cayman as city where we hear the Chinese them to them have a bill. Or it's two different projects.
Yeah, man, that ain't enough project, man, for more. So we have to pay them off in a 10 years.
Project like project, man. Road like road, man. I tell you, man. I tell you. Anyway, give thanks.
Like worries, I guess I prosperity, not you?
Yeah, man, of course. Give thanks.
Alright, well, give thanks here, Muta.
Yeah. Yes, blessed.
Blessed Muta. Yeah, like the previous caller said, take a while to get to you still, but you know, you never repeat the number yet.
Which number?
The number for calling.
Oh.
Search for your search still. But congratulations with your award and what you've been doing. And with your permission, I'd like to do a poem.
Yeah, man, do it now, go on, man.
Blessed. I want to call the church thing. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Could it be because heaven is here? Check. I wrote this to tug at your heart strings in the background as the blackberry sings. Another black boy's gone. The choir sings of a heaven in the sky. Who's got wings? Pastor's got a G4, courtesy of the collection plate. His heavens and earth, no wait. Patience is for the masses, no date. And Jesus, he's been coming from ever since man I was awake. Till now in my memory she lives. Picture, state, what's her intention? Can I question God? She says, hell no. Heaven, yes. Till death comes, heaven, less. My girl, hug up your man if you're cold. Avoid the draft. But this is like Luby. Can I play with you, chess, booby? As the believers look at me like mad, moody, you know. But after days on Obama, there had to be a Rudy. I puff smoke in your cloudy eyes, doobie. Yeah, I did say I'm gonna tug at your heart, but I don't know if we have any left. Let's start. Here, take this book, it's holy. Close your eyes, let's pray. Don't ask when. Now open your eyes and check your pockets. It's holy. Oh man, the missionaries came to Africa with their Bible and told us to close our eyes and pray. And when we opened our eyes, we had their Bible and they had our land. Jomo Kenyatta, how do you pray? Churchonomics, the same trickle-up economics is not taught in most schools. So I try my best not to be a money fool. Just cool. My girl, hug up your man if you're cold. Avoid the draft. So this is like Luby. Can I play with you, chess, booby? As the believers look at me like mad, moody, you know. But after days on Obama, there had to be a Rudy. I puff smoke in your cloudy eyes, doody. I went to church once, and the pastor collected offering 4 times. I still didn't see what he's offering. Spirits, rum, and wines. Jesus is coming. He screamed on the pulpit till his eyes were red, telling me what God said. Interpretation. I did learn how to read though. Oh, we cleared up his visions with colored greens. See what I mean? Lessons. He prayed. I paid for blessings. Who said God need money? Keep your wallet. Your soul's got holes. My girl, hug up your man if you're cold. Avoid the draft. So this is like Ludy. Can I play with you, chess, booby? As believers look at me like mad, moody, you know. But after days on Obama, there had to be a Rudy. I puff smoke in your cloudy eyes, doobie. Yeah, in your cloudy eyes, doobie. Listen.
Yeah, man. What poem name, brethren?
They have email Muta, name church thing.
Church thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. A serious poem, brethren. Serious poem.
I try to put in the work, brother.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, brethren. Yeah?
Likewise.
All right. Yeah, man. Well thought out poem, that. Well thought out poem. Where were you there? Kellysa, where were you there, you know? We did back. Go forward to Kellysa. Here you go. Give thanks to the time and the moment. Give thanks to the energy. We will be back here at 2 o'clock for the stepping razor, the art of war.